We gonna make it. Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Ben, Shalom, another all-women's card. You know, the last time you did one, I did wonder if we'll ever see another one, and you've pulled one off again.
Yeah, no, it had to be something different, and the Albert Hall is different. We've been trying for 2 years, if I'm honest. Such a beautiful venue, a venue that we wanted to tick off, but they'd had enough of boxing in the traditional aspect. We had to give them something special. This is going to be special, so thanks to Sky Sports, they always show massive support for women's sport, but women's boxing as well. And yeah, it will be a phenomenal night. The main event has just sold incredibly, and then the talent and 2 big fights to be announced this week is good, and it feels good. It's going to do amazing for the sport. The first fight, the first event at the O2 was probably my proudest moment of being a boxing promoter, genuinely. So this will be pretty special, and yeah, can't wait.
Let's explain the logistics of the Royal Albert Hall, because we don't see a lot of boxing there. It's obviously 10 minutes from here. It's right in the centre of the posh part of London. Like parking, I'm just thinking outside the box, parking. It's not a big venue, but it looks amazing inside. But what are the logistics of it? Are the venue organisers happy to have boxing events there? You know, what's it all about?
Look, there's a lot of debenture seats. There's a lot of people that have tickets to every show. As you see with the events, the music events that go in there, the live TV events, it's a place where the special events happen. You know, it's a historic venue that prides itself on that, and I think perhaps they'd had a few boxing shows that hadn't got to plan, or perhaps didn't quite fit. And so we had to find something that was unique, that was historic, that potentially can do record-breaking viewership. And once International Women's Day got involved, and the sponsors that got involved behind the scenes, and Sky Sports, and I think having an all-British fight as well. We don't get many in women's boxing that have this sort of gravitas, that have this sort of pull. And Lauren Price, what she's achieved in the Olympics, MBE, Natasha Jonas, you can't argue with it. And I think that's what we had to do to get them on board. It's such a beautiful venue. Hopefully it opens the door to other boxing there. I think you sometimes struggle for those venues in between the O2 and the Wembley. There's not many, you know. You go York Hall, Wembley, O2, but this is a great venue, and yeah, bucket list stuff. Genuinely, so excited for the fighters, and it will be. And as I said, look, I know people like this, they're detractors of women's boxing and things like that, but the numbers it does speak for himself, and with people like Cindy Ngamba and Caroline Dubois, even Lauren Price coming through. There's some phenomenal talent. The divisions are deeper than ever, and there's some great fights to make, but I think Price Jonas is going to be extra special.
Well, explain this to me. You know, when I spoke to Joe Gallagher a few months ago, he was quite adamant that this fight's not signed, it's not happening, and you know, I mean, he wasn't too keen on it from what he was saying. So what was going on behind the scenes? I don't know if you could tell us now, and obviously it's happening.
Look, it was signed. I think Joe Gallagher always has a lot to say. In fairness, he always just wants the best for his fighters. I enjoy working with Joe. I went to see him in Manchester when I was back over Christmas. I said, "What the fuck are you doing? You know, you're meant to be my, you know." We get on. Like Joe was one of the first people I knew in boxing. He had a fighter called Sam Hyde, who was the first fighter I was involved in, and yeah, Joe. But Joe's someone I know that he'll play the games. He'll do what's best for his fighter. The fight was always signed. There's bits and bobs that he wanted to make sure that were dealt and taken care of. But look, this is a big fight, and it's a big fight for him, and it's a big fight for Natasha Jonas, and they're going to do everything they can do to get an advantage. And look, to see Natasha headlining the Albert Hall is special. And Joe's a fantastic trainer. What they've achieved together is phenomenal. But there won't be any more from Joe Gallagher, I don't think.
Is the winner destined to fight the winner of Sandy Ryan, Michaela May? Is that the plan?
I think that's the obvious fight. I think that's the fight that has to happen. These girls, they want to fight the best, and that really is the best fight out there. But for me, these are the 2 best in the division. I think Natasha's proven that time and time again, and Lauren Price is another level, like she really is. And look, whether she's done enough in her career yet to be able to compete with Natasha Jonas, we'll see. I think you don't realise until you're in the ring with a world-class operator what level they're really at, and it's going to be a new experience for Lauren. But it's just a great fight.
The other interesting part of this event is that you're working with Frank Warren, Raven Chapman on the card, and never saw that coming.
We are, and it's just good to make the fight. It's a great fight, and fair play to Raven. It was a last push for the fight that got it over the line. It's a great fight. It really is. I think Karis has been out of the ring nearly a year. She's had some personal things to get over, and sometimes things outside of boxing are more important, and you've got to deal with that. So I'm delighted that she'll come back, not have a warm-up, not do 6 rounds, not do this, not do that. I mean, sometimes a promoter, that it can be tedious for fans as well. Karis Artistor can be the best fighter in that division, no doubt. I believe she beat Sky Nicholson in the next fight. I genuinely believe that. She's proven that, and now it's time to prove it in the pros. Raven Chapman is a perfect opportunity. If there's ever a chance for Raven to beat Karis, it's going to be on March the 7th. Year out the ring, really, really out rusty, and having to go in there and put on a dominant performance. So it's just a great fight.
Spoke to Savannah Marshall. She wasn't too pleased that she wasn't on the stage. I understand there's no opponent penciled in for her. Is she definitely fighting on this show?
I believe so. We just want to give her an announcement of her own. It's the first time that she's back. And we want to make sure we do it right, and I'm delighted that she's back. And she was the reason we did the first one, and the numbers that she does was incredible. And now it's just about creating the fight that is right for this night, and I believe we have it.
Just want to quickly get your thoughts on some other matters. I know you just got a text message from Eddie Hearn. He wasn't happy about your suit.
No, he wasn't. He's a cheeky bastard.
I'll let you say that. And then just talking of your newfound relationship with Eddie, this fight with Eubank Jr. and Ben, there's a lot of talk in the last few days about this weight rehydration clause, this 10 pounds. And I've seen people on TalkSport say that it's dangerous. You tell me, you guys would have discussed it as a team. Like, was it a deal breaker? Or, why have you guys signed and gone with the rehydration clause?
The number that they got in the first fight was dangerous, very dangerous. I don't think it should be in there at all, but the number that they've got is not dangerous. And look, I know a lot being made of it, but as I say, it all depends on what the rehydration clause is, and it's not one that for me causes absolutely any problem to us whatsoever. And so I hear people's concerns, and I hear that it shouldn't be done, and I agree it shouldn't be done, but ultimately we wanted to get the fight over the line, and we managed to agree something that is absolutely fine. The number's fine, and I think people are reading into that more than it is. I don't think it's going to affect anything.
Some couple of more quick fire ones. There's rumours of AZIM fighting on that undercard. I know he's got a big fight himself coming up in a couple of weeks. Just confirm that's not been affected, and if the rumours are true.
It's not something I want him to be thinking about. Obviously, we plan our fighters' next fights before they fought. Well, he needs February the 1st against Sergey Lipnets is such a tough fight that I don't think we can look anywhere. Obviously, it's a huge card. There'll be a few guys of ours on that card, but let's see what happens.
Florian Marco, what's the latest with him? Because last I heard he was in some issues.
I think he's out.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's out.
I read somewhere he got 8 years, so he's out.
I think there's some. Look, I heard he was out, and hopefully we see him soon. It was a historic thing. It's not something I'm aware of or involved in. So, look, he's a friend as well as a fighter. One of our first, does huge numbers. Always been a character in British boxing, and hopefully we'll see him back.
Last thing, what's the latest on Ben Whittaker?
News very soon.
Is it going to be Liam Cameron?
I hope so.
What's the percentage of it being Liam Cameron?
Look, I expect it to be. I'm going to stop I think it all went a bit too far with the statements and the this and the that. I expect it to be. I think everyone's reached an understanding, but it's on them now to accept. And percentage-wise, 75%.
When will we get that news?
I hope this week. hoping the next week, next 7 days.
Any new signings?
Well, Cindy and Gamba was a huge one for us today, so I'm delighted with that. And yeah, we've got 1 or 2 I think we'll announce on February the 1st.
Ben, Shalom, thank you for your time, mate. Thank you.
We gonna make it.